So you know, the weird thing, Sarah, I've always had a desire to write, but I never had the commitment to write. You know, I don't know. I've written the things I've written prior to this book were like short essays or blogs. I had a blog for a while, you know, stuff like that. People would always compliment me on my writing, and I guess I can express myself okay. But I never had a burning desire to write. A couple of years ago, I do these seminars. I travel the country doing these seminars. And a couple of years ago, a literary agent came to scout me out, and you know, he had heard about me. He heard what I talk about. And I don't know how I got on their radar, but. I do a seminar that's about 6 hours long. Halfway through it, he came up to me and said, "I'd like to offer you a book." And I was, wow, you know, I mean, that's kind of cool, you know. So he said, "Have you ever thought about writing a book?" And of course, I'm like, "Hell yes, I thought about, you know, I mean, that's what you answer, right? Your answer is always yes." So we started talking, and a year later, the contract was all signed and worked out and everything, and I had a book deal that you know, I wasn't really even looking for, but it turned out I love it. I'm so glad and fortunate and just lucky that it was able to happen. But yeah, that's about it. So I've been doing these seminars on how laughter is good for us, and you know, I've been doing seminars for a long time, but my topics have always evolved, and because I'm a comedian, I try really hard to draw from the psychology of laughter and psychology of humor, you know, and so the subject just kind of presented itself to me through different opportunities. You know, the actual pitch that the agent first presented to me was like, he was thinking that he wanted to pitch a book about the benefits of laughter, and I was actually talking about the benefits of laughter, and so it kind of merged together, you know. So that's where it kind of came from. As far as the title is concerned, so and this is true, and I from the very beginning, I didn't know what I wanted to call it. I kept thinking about stupid titles, you know, titles that would be funny but probably not sell books. You know what I mean? Like at one point I said, "Hey, why don't we just call it the Bible version 2?" You know, just something like that. You know, just kind of dumb. And they thankfully, my publishing company knows better, and they came up with the title, "The Laughing Cure," and there's a subtitle to that, but it's a long subtitle: mental and health and physical health and so forth. But I'm happy with it. I think it's a good, catchy title, short and sweet, gets the point across. You know, I just didn't come up with it. My publisher actually did a lot of that because that sort of pertains to the marketing element, and I guess they know the industry a lot better than I do. So it's nice to have a publisher, you know. Oh man, it's a really good book. My mom says so. Really. No, it's actually everybody who has read it, and it's, you know, it's not just my friends. I mean, the thing's available nationally. Now, all the reviews so far have been great. I get so in the book. This is kind of cute. In the book, a couple of points. I mention my Facebook page. I mention my Twitter But I don't. It's not like you have to read the book to find it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's on the cover or you know, it's in the text. Anyways, I receive random messages all the time from people who read my book, and it's just that's one of the coolest things. You know, it's like you know, say, "Hey, good. I just want to tell you it was a really good book. It helped me out. It made me laugh." You know, and then I'll say, "Well, where'd you get the book from?" And they say, "Oh, I saw it at the library." You know, a lot of my feedback comes from people who read books for free. Which means I'm not making any money off of it. You know, the library can rent my book out 1,000 times. I don't see a dime from any of those 1,000 people. But hey, at least they read it. That's all I really care about. I didn't do it for the money. I just want people to read it. So you should read it to answer your I really give you long answers, don't I? I'm sorry. You make me nervous, Sarah. Talking to the press makes me nervous. Your followers should definitely check out my book because it's funny. First of all, first and foremost, it is funny. I'm a comedian. I make jokes. The whole book is full of jokes. As many jokes as I can fit in it. It's also informative because I'm a psychologist and I know a few things, and so it'll tell you how to how to perhaps maybe help yourself if you suffer from some sort of mental or emotional condition, like depression or anxiety. It'll help you it'll tell you what you need to do to relieve stress. I explain in pretty good detail what it means to be funny, what it means to find something funny, how that might help people with, say, Asperger's syndrome who have a hard time picking up social cues. I talk a lot about the differences between humor and men and women, and how humor is physically attractive. There's a lot in there. I feel like it's an interesting read, regardless of your perspective and regardless of why you might be reading it. It's interesting, and of course, I tried to make it really funny. I interviewed comedians from all over the country. A lot of my friends who I've toured with, and I know people that I don't really know that well, but I put out calls, and this is what I got back. Famous people that might have a different perspective because they've done a few things. It's a good book. I'm really proud of it. I really am. So I'll be honest with you, I'm not much of a reader. That's my biggest complaint about myself, is that I think I should read more. In the past few years, I read the things I read mostly pertain to my work and my research as a psychologist. When I was younger, I was an avid reader of the Beat generation. I loved Kerouac. I loved Ginsberg, William Burroughs, all of them, Cassidy, all of them. And the Beat generation, I really enjoyed Hunter S. Thompson. I read a lot of his stuff. My favorite book of all time was a book that was introduced to me when I was in high school by Robert Pirsig called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. And it's a book about traveling. In fact, most of the things I've listed to you involve some element of travel, some element of hitting the road, some element of the mindset of being on the road and free, and the stuff that's associated with that. And really, to be honest, those heavily influenced my career because I'm now a touring comedian / public speaker. I live on the road, I don't do it the same way Kerouac did. I don't have the same liver for a whiskey. But then again, he died when he was my age. So maybe I'll live a little longer than he did. Who knows? Memento was a great one. Memento was great because it really sort of. I had been teaching about short-term memory, dysfunction for a long time. I know all about the brain areas involved in that and so forth. But to see, I think the portrayal of the short-term memory loss in Memento was fantastic. It's like they really did a good job of getting that right, and it was kind of the way they portrayed it was really like I would imagine it. They did the same thing in 50 First Dates with Adam Sandler. And although it's a comedy versus a drama, so they're a little different. But I just didn't. I didn't feel like 50 First Dates was convinced me enough that she was suffering from short-term memory loss. What else? Psychological stuff. A lot of the psychological references in movies I hate. I'm more critical of them than appreciative. There's a lot of movies that come out. In fact, I'll say this. This is something I tell people in my seminars on a regular basis, and maybe this will reach your audience, and maybe this will help humanity. We use our entire brain. We use our whole brain. Right now, I'm using my entire brain. So are you. You know, if any part of your brain went unused, it would be dead. We use our entire brain all the time. Your entire brain is active all the time. So Hollywood, every 10 years or so, publishes a movie where the basic premise is we only use a small fraction of our brain. You know, what if we could tap into the other, you know, like I think the last version of this was Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. It's like, you know, like your human brain, only, we only, Morgan Freeman does a voiceover, you know, so you trust him, right? We only use 10% of the human brain, you know. If we could just tap into the other 90% with some super drug or some, you know, just who knows what kind of extraordinary powers we can unlock and so forth. Look, Hollywood, there are so many other ways to give a character powers. Quit perpetuating this stupid idea that we only use a small fraction of our brain. We use the entire brain. It pisses me off, Sarah. It's it was a what was it? Lucy was the last one, and then before that, it was Limitless with Bradley Cooper, who I freaking love. Like if it was a man that I would do, it would probably be Bradley Cooper. But he's awesome. But he did this shit movie with this horrible premise. You know, that really bothers me as a psychologist. Boy, I'm really ranting. As a as a psychologist, that really annoys me. I don't mind bad psychology in movies. There's a suspension of disbelief. But every 10 years, Hollywood produces a movie with that as the premise, and it just makes the population of our country continue to believe that stupid thing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know how many times a day people ask me, "Is it true we only use 10% of our brain?" You know, I hate that. We use the whole brain. So fuck you, Hollywood. That said, if anybody ever wants to put me in a movie about using 10% of the brain, I'm all in. I have a website called drbrianking.com, which is supposed to be the home and the portal to everything I do online. I don't maintain it as much as I want to, but it's drbrianking.com. It's easy to remember. There are links to my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my YouTube, all that stuff. That's all on drbrianking.com. On those other websites, if you don't want to go to my home website, you can find me at drbrianking. You know, that's my handle on every of those sites I just mentioned. I'm heavy on Twitter. Not Twitter. I'm heavy on Facebook. I'm a heavy Facebook user, and I tend to update Facebook way more often than my website. I've recently started trying to be more active in Twitter and Instagram. I don't know why I'm on Instagram. I'm a comedian. You know how hard it is to be funny in photos. like every photo is me making a dumb face. You know, hey, you know, I don't know why comedians have Instagram accounts. Really, it's like sticking to Twitter and Facebook. But I'm on Instagram, so follow me at Dr. Brian King. I travel a lot, so I do travel pictures. At drbrianking.com. That's how you can find me. Honestly, I want you to read The Laughing Cure, and if you're not already doing so, I want you to take life a little less seriously. People are suffering because they take life too seriously, and they don't even realize they're suffering, and they don't even realize what they're doing wrong. But they're taking life too seriously. They're imposing stress on their own lives. They're self-imposed stress. You know, let's say, for example, I always tell people, well, what do you mean when you say don't take life so seriously? Well, let me tell you. I don't mean just simply be receptive to humor and appreciate the humor around you. I mean literally learn how to put things into perspective. You know, you get stressed out in traffic on your way to work. Why? Why are you getting so stressed out about traffic? You know, why are you allowing this situation that has really no consequence in your life? Why are you allowing it to affect you in such a negative way? And then you get to work and you're all stressed out and you have to decompress and so forth, or you get stressed out about something else and so forth. It's just, these things are inconsequential. And when you have a good sense of humor or an easygoing attitude towards life, you know, it really does help you, to borrow a phrase, it really does help you to not sweat the small stuff. And that's really my goal, is I just want people to take it a little easier than they might already. Hey folks, this is Dr. Brian King, and you're watching AcutiePie.com. That is, I don't know, some string of letters supposed to mean a cutie pie. But I'll tell you, Sarah, it's kind of cute.